big inning in the eighth inning. We had bases loaded, nobody out, and never scored a run. And that's was really just a lack of execution. And that happens. The players have to learn from that. But we had several opportunities, and we just have to be better. But sometimes the execution is not there because of the good pitching. And we have to give credit to Regina's pitchers.
And we're about to see another good arm for Regina tonight. Blake Johnson, he's near the top of the pitcher of the year conversation within the WCBL. His ERA is floating right around 150, and he's won a game on the year with 28 strikeouts. That's a guy that no team wants to see, and that's saying a lot because on Regina, there's about 3 guys that you really don't want to see. Colton Anderson, who was last year's pitcher of the year, and Kai Langford. So when you run into the Red Sox, you run into trouble.
Yeah, and there was I would say two big-time hitters that really hurt us yesterday, Searing and Brady By. Seward had the home run that hurt us. He had 3 RBIs, but those 3 guys gave us fits yesterday, and Searing was remarkable in his ability to hit the ball to right center, drive in the go-ahead runs both times. And that eventually was a win for Regina. But their pitching is outstanding, as you mentioned.
And we still have lots of great pitchers to see within their rotation. Tyler Fortin, who we saw last year, was really good. Has yet to make an appearance through one game here at Athletic Park between these two. Jackson Searing, fantastic as always. One of the league's best. Batting around 470 right now. Now, he's not qualified to be in the batting title conversation as of yet. But as games go along and he starts stacking games on games, he'll be right in there against Carter Roth, who on the other side didn't have a great day yesterday. He will look to return to his strong form here at home. We will take you to a quick commercial break, and you'll hear a word from our sponsor, Flow Sports. I guess network as well, Flow Sports. And then we'll be back with starting lineups and today's umpires and everything else you need to know. Well, it's Friday night, and we're here at Athletic Park for round 2 between the Red Sox and the Mavericks. A heavyweight tilt last night that needed 10. The Red Sox victorious in that top of the 10th inning. They only needed to score 1 to put the Mavericks away. And today, the Mavericks will look for a bit of revenge after suffering their first home loss of the season. It's quite remarkable that we get to this point, and they only have 1 in that column. Let's see how this one goes today. A little bit of reverb in the background. Wayne Slosher is alongside me. As always, Truman Bartman back with you again tonight. And Wayne, the Red Sox hit well last night, had 11 hits on the night. Let's take a look at some of the members that made that possible.
Well, basically the same lineup as last night for the Red Sox. I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Jordan Tucker leading off in center field. Raphael Jackson in left field. Jackson Searing in right field. Jalen Seward is the DH tonight. Brady Bye moves up to bat fifth. He's at third base. James Wright at first base. Jaden Kalura is a catcher. Justin Simard is at second base. And Matthew Fox is at short. For the hometown Mavs, Jeremy Freeman in center field. Aaron Volcano moves up. He'll be at first base, batting second. Tyler Vanesti back in the lineup. He'll be at third base, batting third. Connor Roth at second base. Johnny Volcano at short. Blake Dale is the DH tonight. Jaden Babiak will do the catching. Adam Volcano will bat eighth, and Micah Dvorak in left field will bat ninth. The umpires for tonight's game, the crew chief and the home plate umpire is Tyler Murphy. At first base, Brian Stair, and at third base, Connor Josling. And we'll have the national anthem, and we'll be back with the starting pitchers.
True patriot love in our sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, thou true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Well, let's see who's on the mound for the Metasnap Mavericks to start tonight. And it is Tyler Spruill. No wins on the season so far, a 3.68 ERA with 19 strikeouts. Spruill hasn't played a lot, and in all of his appearances, he has started. And he's familiar with this Athletic Park mound. He's not making his first start at home tonight, but he is making his first start in these black threaded jerseys. The Mavericks have only used their white and reds at home thus far, large in part because of their winning streak, and they didn't want to change things up. It's not superstition, it's rather strategy for Coach JT and the rest of his crew. And for Spruill, that wind out there tonight will benefit him as a lefty with lots of off speed in his bag, but it also may be giving Babiak problems behind the plate. He'll be given lots of chase around. Jaden Babiak named the player of the game for yesterday's game, so he's been on a good stretch. Went 3 for 4 yesterday, and see if he can bring this newfound momentum into today's run of things. Speaking of momentum, the Red Sox have seemingly progressed upward and upward as the season has progressed. And this lineup is looking dangerous alongside that pitching that we talked about before.
Well, the Regina Red Sox match up well against us, and that's been proven. We've played them 5 times. They've beaten us 4 out of 5 games, and they're no slouch of a team. We're only 3 games up right now, aren't we, on the Regina Red Sox for second place? So tonight's a big game. If we can push them 4 games back versus 2 games back, we always said that this is a big weekend with 2 games against Regina, and then another 2 games Saturday and Sunday against Saskatoon. So a tough road here for the Mavericks.
And Regina and Medicine face off along with this game 3 more times still to go this year. So if Regina wins the next 3, they'll be tied up in the standings. Of course, there's many games to go around just this series, but Regina in a position to do something big. They're 4-1 against the Mavericks this year and have dominated play, especially in the last 2 games in Regina. They only gave up, I believe, 2 runs in that time.
Yeah.
2 runs over 18 innings of play is exceptional. Spruill getting comfortable on the mound here. This one going to be grounded to Johnny Volcano. He's had a little bit of trouble in previous games at short. And he's still working his way back into the swing of things here. And it's going to take a little bit of time before Volcano is at his peak. So 1 down already, a good sign for the Mavericks here. Babiuk will climb back behind the plate, and up at the plate now in front of him is Raphael Jackson. He came in to score yesterday. It was that all-important 6th run for the Red Sox.
Yeah, he was a courtesy runner. He was 2 for 5 last night.
The top half of the Regina lineup was deadly. Strike there from Spruill. Spruill's got to find the strike zone early. It's something he struggled with early on in the season. His ball-to-strike count is awfully similar.
Yeah, I think 19 strikeouts to 18 walks in about 16 2/3 innings.
Jackson's going to ground this one aside. We saw early on from the Red Sox yesterday that they were getting to Foster Voico's pitches right off the jump of the game. And as the game progressed, Voico started to work around them. Be interesting to see if they take a similar approach with Spruill and they make contact early on.
And that's what the pitcher wants them to do, is make contact, just make them hit your pitch.
Here's Spruill on the delivery. That one through the wickets of Babiuk and will be down for a ball. Count is 1-2 now to Jackson. Jackson way back in the batter's box here. That one's going to miss a side. Spruill trying to get him to chase, not getting anything. Spruill will regroup here. 2-2 count. Jackson waiting on the throw. Here it comes. That one going to miss again, so 3 consecutive balls here from Spruill. Spruill going to shake a couple of pitches off and get back to it. That one going to miss in the dirt, and that's been his issue, is the walks. And in the first inning, already seeing some of that here from Tyler.
Yeah, he patted his chest. It was supposed to be a changeup or a off-speed pitch of some sort, and it bounced in front of the plate. It wasn't close.
And Jackson Searing, all-star last season, could have been the MVP last season, and in many's eyes, he was the MVP, near the top of the league in batting average, 2nd to be exact. He is one of the most feared opponents.
An interesting side fact, we were talking about one of the Regina Red Sox playing catch with the ball boy, and it was Jackson Searing out there playing catch before the game with the Mavericks ball boy. It's really nice to see, and those kids will always have those memories, so good on Jackson for doing that.
Yeah, I don't know Jackson really at all, and I've only had one conversation with him, but it was because he approached me with a conversation, ran into him and a couple of others who were heading to the All-Star game last year. Cody Hanna, who's no longer with the Red Sox, and Danny Crabtree, another member from last year's really good squad. And yeah, they were all very inviting to talk with me.
Oh, good throw over to first. Good block by Aaron Volcano. Make sure the ball don't get by him.
It's one thing to note, no Evan Morrison tonight, so Volcano getting the duties at first. We've seen him in right field for most of the season, however. Pitch is going to be a strike in there to Searing.
Curveball that was up in the zone, but called a strike.
There aren't many players in the WCBL who have made 2 consecutive All-Star games, who are still active at least. Searing looking to become one of those this season. And he's right on pace. Mavericks chance for a double play here. Roth over to first. Throw in the dirt, and he's safe. And now they call him out. A reversal on the call. And the first base umpire made it known that he made the wrong judgment off the bat. So the Mavs get out of the first with a double play. A walk from Spruill, but nothing happens after. And
Yeah, he was definitely out at first.
Good correction there. And now we will see Blake Johnson tend to the mound, and we'll be right back after a word from Igniter Tickets. And we're ready for the bottom of the first inning here from Medicine Hat, Alberta. Jeremy Freeman Jr., always in his natural habitat, leading off for the Mavs once again. The only difference, and we noticed this yesterday as well, is he now wears the number 44. And I'm not here to out Jeremy in any way, but it is due to losing his former jersey, which was number 12. So he had to make the switch to a new number. And now he's able to wear his black jersey. That was the one that I believe got misplaced. So sorry for outing you, Jeremy, but that is the situation at hand, and that is the reason for the switch. Here's Johnson. Throw forward, a swing and a miss.
Good breaking pitch from Johnson.
That's going to be a hard one to hit if he throws it like that throughout the rest of this game.
He threw 2 in a row to Jeremy on the outer part of the plate.
Jeremy going to foul that one off. That one had a little more speed to it.
Yeah, that was a fastball, and Freeman, all he could do was just foul it off, hope to get a better pitch. Beautiful evening here tonight, except it's breezy. Last night there was no wind. It's still 76 degrees Fahrenheit, 27 degrees Celsius.
Freeman, a swing and a miss. Throw down to first is completed. That is out number 1. And while the Mavericks get their next batter up, let's talk about the man on the mound a little more in depth, Blake Johnson. We mentioned in the pregame that he is near the top of the league in just about every statistical category, and for that reason, he could be in line to win Pitcher of the Year. It would be the second consecutive year that a Red Sox pitcher would win the award, with his teammate Colton Anderson doing that last year. And you look at his stats, 1 win on the year, a 1.66 ERA with 28 Ks. Just remarkable stuff from Johnson.
Right now, he's painting that outside corner on the right-handed hitters. That was a curveball slider again that just caught the corner. Going out there again, this time with a fastball.
Talking about how him and Anderson would be back-to-back recipients of the same award. They would be the second group of teammates ever to do so. The other two happened recently, Josh Tucker and Ty Boudreau of the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Boudreau has since moved on, but they played a couple of seasons together over in Sylvan Lake. So we know what the pitching powerhouses are. Sylvan Lake and Regina, you don't want to mess with them. Count is 1-2 here between Johnson and Aaron Volcano. Batting higher than he usually does as he's going to send this one just over the shortstop Fox's head. And he's got himself a base hit, the first of the game for any party involved, as Volcano will be on first. And Tyler Vanesti, who didn't play last night, comes in right behind him.
That was a curveball, and Aaron Volcano was waiting for it. He fouled off the fastball and waited on that curveball and stuck his bat out, poked it into left field for a single.
And Tyler Vanesti recently reached a milestone that not many players have. We'll talk about that more later in the show, and I don't want to spoil it, but he might just be our player profile for tonight. Of course, it's Friday night, so you know it's our player spotlight night. Vanesti, one of the returners, so he will get his turn.
Volcano's 3 for 4 in stolen bases, but he only has a 2-step lead at first.
Vanesti's going to send this one into orbit over towards center field, and it's going to be brought down in center field by Jordan Tucker. So Volcano stays over at first. Vanesti will head back to the dugout, and with 2 outs, it'll bring up Carter Roth. Carter Roth high end in every category this year, and Coach JT talked to him before the game, and he said, that is not by chance. This guy is the real deal. He does everything right. It is not a surprise that he's doing as well as he is. And I believe the exact phrase he said is, those numbers are earned.
Boy, that pitch is catching the corner. It's off the plate, but it's getting the call, and that's all Johnson wants is give me that pitch all night.
Johnson along stare. Here's the throw. Is going to miss into the dirt. And his catcher, Kalura, going to stop it there. Kalura behind the plate last night as well. We'll look back in at Roth. Johnson goes back over to first. Wasn't much of a lead there from Volcano.
No lead at all. Like I said, a 2-step lead, and most of the runners are going to get 3.5 or 4 steps.
Roth going to plot this one over into center field, and a long day at the office in the bottom of the first for Jordan Tucker. Makes 2 plays over in center field, but it is 4 batters faced for Johnson. He and his team knocked down 3. We remain at 0s through 1. Now a quick message from our network, Flow Sports. Top of the second here on a sunny Friday night. Tyler Spruill, a solid first inning, but he was aided by the double play towards the end, and it's been something that the Mavericks have struggled with recently is completing the double play, and I'm sure they're happy to see one go their way this time around as it's a strike to Jalen Seward. Seward had a home run in this inning yesterday. Seward's going to take that one in the DH role again tonight.
Looks like a better crowd tonight than last night. Last night a little over 1,000. I'm expecting 1,200 tonight.
Speaking of crowds that were almost non-existent, last week on Friday and Saturday we didn't have games, so there were no crowds. And important to note for those listening, if you are making a trip up here or you're thinking about coming out to the ballpark soon, we do have the rescheduled dates for those games. This one's sent over to Freeman. Long way, and it is gone! Back-to-back days. Home runs for Jalen Seward, and he is cooking and loving Medicine Hat.
Just about the same place as he hit it last night. Just a little bit to the right of dead center field. This one had more length on it.
If there's a candidate for the home run derby for Regina this year, my vote is being put in right now on Jalen Seward. Boy, can he crush the ball.
Yeah, he was right on that pitch. Not ahead of it, not behind it. Hit it right over center field.
So not how Spruill would like to start off his day.
Well, at least there was nobody on base.
Yesterday, one on. It was a 2-run homer for Seward. And that's how games can get away from you, is when you have lots of runners on and the long ball's flowing. Hopefully that doesn't become a theme for Spruill. This one going to be hit towards third. Long play. Volcano. And he is safe. A great attempt on the fall-away throw as we went from brother to brother. And it just wasn't in time.
Boy, that was close. Closer than I thought it was going to be. Volcano got a lot on that throw. That's a play you have to appreciate, even if there wasn't an out on it.
So with a run already on the board here for the Red Sox, they got a runner on with nobody out as they churn through the order here on the road. And they put up big numbers against Medicine Hat before, of course, those games that were played in their home barn. But they're yet to do so here. Just single digits yesterday. High pitch. So first pitch is a ball for Spruill.
Not much of a lead at first.
Quick look over. This one's going to be dished aside.
The wind is blowing out to right field, so if you can get it up in the air, with that wind blowing, it's going to carry you a long way.
Quick look down from Spruill. Now here comes the throw. That one low again. He's getting too much dive on that pitch at the moment. He's working behind in lots of counts as well. This one is pounded over into left center field. Freeman's going to run onto it, knock it down. Runner is going to head for third. Freeman stopped up a bit, and he's going to be safe at second as well. So 2 in scoring position. Aggressive running here from the Red Sox, and they make the best of it as Freeman with a slow throw into second base.
Yeah, Freeman threw it to Volcano, and Volcano was in between a throw to second and a throw to third, and had Freeman come up throwing right to second, he might have had a chance to get right at that base. But now we got runners on second and third.
Chance for the Regina Red Sox to add even more to the scorecard. Spruill hasn't gotten his first out yet in this inning. This is not the response that you would have expected from the Mavericks here after what was a disappointing loss yesterday in a game that they really had plenty of chances. They had a guy on third. They could have sent the game to an 11th inning, and they couldn't get him across on 2 opportunities. Speaking of across, another one in to score here for Regina. Man down to third now as well, and it is a 2-0 Red Sox lead.
Yeah, Babiak realizes that he should have been able to block that ball. I think he could have caught it, but he patted his chest to Spruill and said, yeah, I should have had that.
Babiak's got a lot on his mind tonight. He is currently mic'd up out there for the Mavericks. I'm sure you'll be able to find that on social media, potentially YouTube, sometime after this game. We've never had a player mic'd up in a game before, as far as I'm aware. So some new antics here for the Mavericks. Here's Sproul. That pitch is high, and he cannot find the strike zone at all. Another walk here, and there'll be a meeting on the mound. Nobody coming out from the Mavericks dugout. This is a players-only gathering. The infield is in. He's got an all-star coming in at the plate, Justin Samard. Samard didn't play for the Red Sox last season. He was an all-star in 2023. They bring him back again. That's a veteran player that you don't want to mess around with, and to have him near the end of the lineup is very dangerous.
Yeah, he didn't have a great night last night. He was 0 for, but we've seen him play before. He had a walk with a strikeout.
Yeah, led the team in hits back in that 2023 season. Led the team in several categories, mind you.
So runners on the corner. We'll see whether Regina are going to try to get Clara to second base.
Ooh, that one close to the elbow. So once again, Sproul can't find the zone, and there's some shuffling going on down at the Mavericks bullpen. This one's going to be hit aside towards the Regina Red Sox dugout.
Good fastball from Sproul there.
One and one count here. Regina threatening again. They already got 3 hits on the board tonight, and of course the 2 runs. Sproul will go to first. On the other end of it is Aaron Volcano.
Mavs will give up a run for a double play. Middle infield playing double play depth. Vinesti backs up at third.
Throw from Sproul's going to bounce. Good play by Babiuk. That one caught him by surprise, and it is not easy to keep a pitch like that ahead of yourself.
Yeah, it was a fastball that was about 55 feet. And Babiuk just stood up because it was so far in front of the plate. To go down, it probably would have bounced over him. So good instincts just to stand up and take it off your body.
Count now goes to 2-1. Here's the pitch, and it is tapped into the infield. Sproul will dish it to first with a little bit of a backhanded play, and another run in to score for the Red Sox. They had 2 in the first yesterday. Now they got 2 in the third today. Early leads a part of their formula.
Yeah, it's 3-0 now. So they're on a roll. And there's only 1 out with a runner in scoring position.
Matthew Fox coming into the plate. He was yesterday's beer batter, and he did strike out, so there was a discount for fans. Swing and a miss from Fox, and that's part of the reason why he was picked for that. And Babiuk is shaken up right off the go here. He's been blocking a lot so far tonight. We're not even through 2 innings. And that one got him good. Now, I mentioned earlier that he's mic'd up tonight. I'm not sure if a clip like that will be included. He's in some pain.
Not sure where his mic is. It might have killed his mic, too.
He might be thankful for that. It's got him off his game a little bit. So the count is 0-1 to Fox. Still just the 1 out. Man over at second. Red Sox looking to get even more. Good strike there. Bottom of the zone for Sproul. Despite a little activity out there for the Mavericks, nobody warming up officially yet. We'll keep tabs on that, but it's early in the game, so shouldn't expect anybody to be warming up. This one is pushed aside, and nearly getting to it was Fox.
Yeah, hanging curveball. He was just under it.
Sproul will reset here against Fox. Here comes the throw. It is hit up in the air and fouled again. Fox is not making it easy.
Fox did not have a good night last night. He was batting ninth. He was 0-4 as well. Struck out a couple of times.
He's another guy who's been with the Red Sox for a while. For a majority of his career, he's played short. But names like Searing and Simard and Fox have been around this lineup for a while. Sproul looking at the jumping that's going on behind him. This one up into center field. Playable for Freeman. He'll get there. Runner will stay over at second base. That wasn't deep enough. So 2 outs now for the Mavericks. And in at the plate as we flip it up to the top of the order is Jordan Tucker. Tucker batting .337 on the season. 5 stolen bases to his name as well. There's not a lot of stealing going on for the Red Sox, but we do know that Jackson Searing, he is one that will test his luck on the base path. Fouled off there on the first pitch, so a couple of counts now that Sproul's getting ahead in, the last 2 specifically. Sproul, a quick look back. Takes 3 looks over towards second base, then throws it in and gets a swing and a miss from Tucker. Waiting on deck is Jackson. And here it comes. Swing and a miss. Babiak will play a little game there with Tucker. He finally gets the tag on him, and we finally end off the top of the second. It was a big one for the Red Sox. They put 3 up on the scorecard, and they're in the lead early, just as we saw yesterday as well. Let's take a quick look at the head-to-head between these two teams this season. As we alluded to a little while ago, the Red Sox have dominated this matchup. There's no other way to say it. 4-1 on the year, of course, to the Mavs 1-4. However, if you take a look at these two teams side by side just as regular season teams, it's a much different story. 16-8 this year for the Mavericks, 12-10 for the Red Sox, who have been up and down. Before last night, they were .500 through their last 10 games. And in the run department, the Mavericks still leading the WCBL at 196. And for the Red Sox, quite far behind. They're about 34 runs behind the Mavericks this year. And for an offense that does have a lot of firepower, I kind of thought that number would be a bit higher when I looked into this stat earlier today. But that's the tale of the numbers, at least for these two teams. And the tale of the tape is that the long ball is working early on for the Red Sox, as we see Seward clear the fence again in this one. Boy, is it fortunate for the Red Sox to have a special player like Jalen Seward.
Well, he's hurt us twice early in the game the last 2 nights. Now, the single home run tonight didn't hurt, but the single home run, but the single after that, and then the double and a pass ball, and didn't take long for the Red Sox to put another 2 runs on the board.
Throw down to second, so that means we're just about ready to go. Another round for Blake Johnson on the mound. We will see Johnny Fulcano for the first time in this game. And Johnny, as we mentioned on the defensive side, he's still working his way back into the rhythm. The same can be said for the hitting department. His approach
He had a couple of big
always
hits
the same.
last night. He had a double and a single, and I think his bat might be back. And, on defense, Johnny has always been, he can make some great plays like today. He just about made a great play, but sometimes he gets a little presumptuous and the ball gets by him when we least expect it and when it hurts us the most.
Yeah, you speak of that one big hit that Johnny had yesterday. Thought it was a home run off the bat. It's been a while since he's gone deep at Athletic Park. But a crucial moment in that game, and that's what you expect, or we've learned to expect from Johnny Volcano, is hitting big time in big time moments. There's one driven into left field, so Johnny's got a base hit here. And the Mavs got one on. They need to start stacking up hits, and alongside that, some runs. Blake Dale checking back into the lineup today. Spoke with Blake pregame today, and he was confident. I think a lot of these Mavericks players are. They haven't lost a lot at home, and they're feeling like it's just one bump in the road. And for Dale, he said, yeah, I'm just excited to be in the lineup. I know I can play anywhere. I feel comfortable playing anywhere, and whatever they need me to do, I'll be there. Tonight in the DH role, so he's not going to have to use his glove at all. We'll see if he can do a little bit of damage with the bat. Here's a throw from Johnson. Waiting on that one is Dale, so it'll be 1-1. Dale gets a signal from the dugout. Throw over to first. They're going to check on Johnny Volcano, not known to steal a whole bunch.
And yet he runs so well. He's got the ability to steal.
Check on him once more. It's clear that Regina is not a team that just looks at the numbers. They've watched Johnny and how he navigates, both on defense with his speed and on the base path. Swing and a miss here from Dale as he took a healthy hack at that one. Johnson dealing well in the early goings. And with a 3-0 lead, he's a guy that can hold that for a while. Here comes the throw. Dale, a swing and a miss, and that is out number one of the bottom of the second inning.
Johnson has a very good fastball, and the last two pitches were up and in, and Blake just couldn't do anything with those pitches.
Jaden Babiak coming off of a highlight day yesterday. 3 for 4. And we know how good his speed is on the base path. The trouble for him is getting onto the base path a lot of the time. Babiak gets ready to go here against Johnson. Here's his first offering. It's going to hit for a strike.
Good curveball.
Johnny staying pretty close to first base. I'd be surprised if Johnson checks, and right on cue, Johnson is going to check.
Well, the Mavs like to run. That's part of their offensive strategy, but as you said, the wrong guy up there that's going to steal.
Babiak will foul that one off, and he's down to his knees on that swing and a little bit shaken up.
It went off his foot, his right foot.
Babiak's taking a beating out there so far today. He can't dodge it. A little bit of a dance going on there from Babs as he moseys his way back into the batter's box.
Umpire's going to give him a little extra time by cleaning off the plate that's already clean.
A nice gesture from the ump.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has lots of good conversations with Babs back there, knowing that Babs likes to have himself lots of conversations. Back to Johnson now. He gathers on the mounds, throws it forward, and this one's sent over towards second and through the gap. Couldn't have put it in a better spot for Babiak, and he's got a base hit.
Keep it going, Jaden.
Yeah, the strong offensive output from Jaden Babiak continues. He was really on to start the year. His batting average hovered around the 300 mark, and it's dipped slightly since, but he's had a resurgence. And Adam Volcano up to bat. His brother over on second. It's the first time in a while we've seen all three in the lineup together, and I'm sure their parents, whether they're at the game or listening here, have smiles going from cheek to cheek.
Well, the younger brother and the dad are playing American Legion, and they have a full schedule, but I think they might have tonight off.
One near Adam. He'll step out of the batter's box.
Babiak still hobbling at first base.
See if it affects his ability to run here. Swing and a miss from Adam. Of course, no Yusei Uzawa in the lineup tonight. He is a speed threat that people don't want to mess with. Hasn't stolen as many bases recently, but the threat is there.
Yeah, he just hasn't been get on as much recently.
Swing and a miss there from Adam as he tips it aside. That one might have caught the catcher as well.
Yeah, it was a foul ball. It went off the bat and then off the catcher's shin pad, I believe.
So we'll resume at 1-2 here. Just the one out. Waiting behind Volcano is Micah Dvorak. Here's the throw, and it is going to go in and out of the glove of the catcher. Down to third is Volcano. Babiuk back to first. The ball is dropped. He might have caught Babiuk in the wrist. And so there'll be runners on the corners here for the Mavs in an odd turn of events.
Yeah, ball got away from the catcher Colera, and Johnny took off right away. He knew where the ball was. Babiak hesitated, and when he saw Volcano go, he took off, but then realized that the catcher had the ball and scampered back to first.
This one hit foul by Volcano. Right down by the Red Sox bullpen.
One away. The Mavs have a great opportunity to score at least a run.
Another foul off by Volcano.
That was a tough pitch, a curveball. Adam just put a bat on it to foul it off.
That was a save me swing.
Yeah, it was. Keep me alive.
And he sure is. Still 2-2. Here comes Johnson getting ready for the delivery. And another swing and another foul from Volcano. Longer this goes, the longer Volcano's got to feel good.
Yeah, he's having a good at-bat.
Johnson not afraid to challenge him at all.
No, he's coming right after him. He beat him with a curveball, but Volcano fouled it off, and now he beat him with a fastball, and he fouled it off.
Let's run this again. Johnson, swing and a miss, and they're going to say that it was... No, they're going to say that it is a strikeout indeed. Saw the umpire waving no, but he was more so saying that he didn't touch it.
Yeah, it
not
was.
that he was still around. So Micah Dvorak will come up with runners on the corners and 2 outs. The Mavericks would love to get one across the plate at minimum and keep this game within reach.
Well, there's a big hole between first and second. The ball is blowing out to right field if Micah can get it in the air.
Throw over to first.
And he has 4 home runs this season.
We've seen him go that way a couple of times especially. He can go all ways, but there is a preference within his swing that it goes right. Dvorak, oh, that one was going way right if he made contact. You don't see that kind of wild swing from Micah very often.
Well, very aggressive. And that's what you want. He looked fastball. He got it. Just missed it.
That one just misses hitting the plate as it maneuvered its way towards the body of Dvorak. Not in a spot that he had to shimmy out, however. Long stare off with Johnson. Here comes the throw.
Good curveball.
Yeah, the perfect drop. He's not going to be an easy guy to hit, and I think the Mavericks are already experiencing some of that.
Well, Dvorak gave up on it because it looked like it was high and outside, and then it had a sharp break and came right in.
Dvorak, this one fouled left. One and two count, 2 out, 2 on. No runs on the board yet for the Mavericks. Here's the throw. Dvorak, a swing and a miss, and that will do it for the second inning. Surviving there is Johnson with pressure at his back, but he keeps this 3-run Red Sox lead intact as we head to commercial break. And a quick word from our sponsors. Tyler Spruill back on the mound for the top of the third inning here at home, and the Mavericks down early at home 3-0. That's not something that they've seen a lot of, at least in postseason action against the Regina Red Sox, as since the year 2019, both these teams have faced off twice, and the Mavericks are 4-0 against the Red Sox. And it's been weird because the Red Sox are usually in as the higher seed. They have this fantastic regular season and they put up big numbers, and then the playoffs come around and they go silent. They watched that happen again last year as the 1 seed losing to Moose Jaw in the first round. In fact, both these teams were higher seeds last year and both lost in the first round. It has been since before the pandemic that the Regina Red Sox have won a playoff game, and that year they made it to the finals and lost to the Okotoks Dogs. Players like Raphael Jackson, who we see at the plate now, trying to end that skid that has haunted this group. Here's the throw from Spruill. He'll hit with a strike. Spruill's got to start getting comfortable in that strikeout zone.
There is action in the Mavs bullpen.
Can't get a number on it quite yet. See Cesar Rodriguez down there, the Mavs pitching coach. Swing and a miss by Jackson. Babiuk will throw it down to first, and a high one. Toe tap is there. Hold your breath, folks. Volcano with an excellent play, and not an easy play for Aaron.
Yeah, that was a little bit of toe tapping dance there by Aaron Volcano.
Shades of Julio Jones wearing black and red and making a beautiful catch along a boundary. Of course, that the former Atlanta Falcons wide receiver who is known for doing such. Spruill That one will miss for ball one. Still
Looks
not
like
sure who we have.
Hudlow. Is it Max Hudlow or Linsky?
It could be Zach Holinsky.
Yeah,
Haven't seen
Zach
Holinsky in a bit, so he could be an option. This one over to second, into the glove of Roth, and over to his first baseman, Volcano. Volcano had time on that one. He got to stay at home and didn't have to make another acrobatic play. Jalen Seward already made Sproul pay once. He's made the Mavs pitching staff pay twice. He's looking to collect another big hit here in the top of the third. Sproul, that one near the armpit area, and will miss for ball one. Sproul yet to find any consistency in this game, but a quick top of the third would help in that department. This one is hammered up the middle, and Seward once again goes fishing with another hit of his own. So still 2 out, but a chance to build off of what was a big base hit there for Seward. And Brady Bye, he did a lot of hitting yesterday. This is the combo that has worked in the past for the Red Sox. And we talked about Samard and talked about Searing and their strong play just overall throughout the years. But this year, these two have joined the core. Bye was with them last season, but his elite play has progressed.
Yeah, he's a young fellow from Regina, and he had a great night last night. And he already has a double tonight.
Bouncer in the dirt. Babiak will keep it in front of himself again. Babiak's going to be reaching for the icy hot next turnaround to the dugout. Sproul. Wind fluttering behind him. This one will flow over to Roth, into his glove, and out of the top of the third, the Mavs go. Sproul much cleaner that time around, and he's got to be happy with that result as the Mavs need some results on the run side. They currently have a 0 on the board, and they look to change things against Blake Johnson, who's been red hot when we come back. Fresh out of a commercial break and right back into this one. Regina with a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the third inning. They also control the hits 4-3. And the Mavericks had an opportunity in the bottom of the second and couldn't convert with Johnny Volcano over at third base. Chance with the top of the order here is Freeman yet to get on base in this game, and something he's done a lot this year.
Well, last inning, Johnson just buckled down with Adam Volcano and Micah Dvorak and struck them both out to end the inning with runners on the corners.
No chase on that throw from Johnson. Count is 2-2.
Johnson's going to be real tough. We were talking about it in between innings.
Swing and a miss from Freeman, and they're going to say that he tapped it.
Yeah, it was a foul off the
Stay
end of the
around.
bat. The thing that really impresses me and what's going to make him so tough is he's got a very good fastball, a really good breaking pitch, but he's also got that change-up that a lot of pitchers are working on it, but his looks to be very effective.
We've seen some good pitchers and some solid pitching performances this year at Athletic Park. I think Johnson is the best pitcher that we've seen, and now lots can still happen as this game progresses, but from a straight-up skills standpoint, he is probably atop the list.
Well, that changeup puts him above a lot of other pitchers.
Johnson steps back on the rubber. Quick stare down and a full count to Freeman. This has been a long one. And look at that confident throw from Kalura. Freeman didn't swing at it, and as soon as it reached Kalura's glove, it was already on its way over to third base going around the horn.
I think he knows the strike zone better than home plate umpire.
He
Wonder
almost
if he
didn't
made
give
the
it a
call.
chance to reach his glove on that throw.
No, it was a great pitch.
Second at bat here for Aaron Volcano. The first man to get a hit off of Johnson tonight. And one of the few to reach base. Bit of a wait here as they get some new balls into the umpire's pocket. Johnson strides forth, and a swing and a miss from Volcano. He was behind that one. Volcano loves the fastball. Anytime it's in his area, you're going to get a swing out of him. But that's not to say that's a good thing, because often the swing could be heading over your head and maybe even over the fence. This time off speed and a reaching swing there from Volcano as he strikes out.
It's 4 strikeouts in a row for Johnson.
That line score is going to look pretty if this continues. Tyler Vanesti now. He's going to look to make a dent in that line score. As we said, Johnson just with a 1.66 ERA, and that is dropping as we speak. Vanesti, first pitch is taken for a ball. Dipped a little bit lower than Johnson was wanting. Vanesti hammers this one into center field, and is that the spark that the Mavericks need from their veteran? We will have to see. But Vanesti glad to get one into green grass here, despite there being 2 outs. Can Carter Roth hit one in the same spot off of that? Johnson. Roth is going to put this one into center field. Boy, that hung in the air for a long time, and it looked like there might have been a play for Samard to make, but he didn't have the quickness to shoot over.
It's good to see Roth get back in the hit column. It's his first hit in this series.
Yeah, this has been the lowest point of his WCBL career so far.
Yeah, he was 0 for last night, 0 for 5. So he's 1 for 7 now.
Volcano, that one's high. It'll be ball 1. If there's even a thought for Johnson throwing a high fastball here, I might rethink that. Volcano's due for a big one at home. Swing and a miss as he gets him. Count is 1-1 with 2 outs. Johnson shuffling his feet on the mound. quick little look over. A second look towards Vanesti. Now down towards the plate as Volcano puts that one to the netting.
3 straight fastballs to Johnny Volcano. Volcano singled his first plate appearance.
I'm going to
Hit
retract
it out into left field.
I'm going to retract my statement about not throwing Johnny a fastball. It's clearly working for Johnson. Does he go there one more time? Here comes the throw. Volcano going to pop this one up. Is there going to be a play? No, it's too far. And it dodged the kid sitting in a purple shirt down below. He almost got one right on the kneecap.
Yeah, that's a wheelchair section. And it landed in between them, thank goodness.
Yeah, a lady wearing a bright yellow hat down there as well. She ducked out of the way. Not ducking anybody is Blake Johnson. Looking for another K. Here comes the
High
throw.
fastball. Yeah.
Ooh. Volcano's going to check his swing. They're going to check down at first, and that's confirmed. Here comes the throw. Volcano swing and a miss as he spins around, and another K to the mantle for Blake Johnson. Could add a couple more Ks to his name at this point. It has been a day for Blake. He's cruising. So finally there's a throw down to second, and we say finally because there was a promo that dragged on a little bit too long down on the field, and they could have called it. And one person that's wanting to call this one right now is Blake Johnson. If his day ended now, he'd be walking out on top and walking out with a victory for his team and a pretty nice line to it already.
Yeah, 3 innings. He's got 7 strikeouts. He's given up 5 hits, but all singles.
Strike there from Sproul. He doesn't have as many strikeouts, but he's progressing through things. JT was hoping that he could at least get 4 out of him, and Sproul in a good spot to do that. This one's skied. Should be playable for Dvorak or Freeman. It's going to meet in between them, and it will meet with the back of Jeremy Freeman's glove. 1 down here for the Mavs, and that's a good way to head off the top of the 4th. And Wayne, you were talking about 7 strikeouts already for Blake Johnson, and that made me think, well, what's the league record? It is 19 from John Axford. He played in the MLB, won the Rolaids Reliever of the Year, played for Milwaukee with the Blue Jays. He was quite the anomaly within the WCBL and had a really strong season with the Blue Jays back in the day.
So who did he play with in the WCBL?
He played with the Melville Millionaires. That was back in 2006.
Oh, yeah.
So that's back when it was the WMBL, I believe. Here's the pitch from Sproul. This
That's
one
gone.
is hammered. Should be a no-doubter, carrying over the bush at the back. And it is an absolute bomb as the Regina Red Sox go up 4-0. And what a hit off the bat of Calera.
Yeah, the right fielder, Adam Volcano, turned around, took 2 steps, and then just stopped.
Calera with 2 of the signature plays in this game. That home run and the throw to third after the strikeout. It's a confident young man. And it looks like Sproul's day could be done. JT out to the mound, gives his signature clapping motion, and that will do it for Sproul. He doesn't make it through 4. He surrenders 4 on 5 hits. And not an ideal day for Sproul. Zach Helinski enters the game. And we know his parents are listening, so I'm sure they are excited to get to see their son on the mound here at Athletic Park. And we will let him get warm and step aside. It will be a mountain to climb here for the Mavericks, who are already down 4, and Tyler Sproul's day is done. We'll see what Zach Helinski has in store, making his first home appearance of the season. And he's a guy who disguises the ball real well on the mound. It'll be tricky, especially with this wind as a factor, for the Red Sox players to hit him. Starts his day off with a strike. Already has the 1 out on the board, thanks to Sproul. So he'll just need to get 2 here in the 4th. See if he can allow the Mavericks offense to get hot. But there comes a point where you start to question things if you are the Mavericks batters, because in this game and games previous, nothing has been going, and they lead the league in runs scored.
Well, good pitching will shut down good hitting, and right now we're seeing excellent pitching.
Here's the 1-2. Helinski floats that one, and it'll just miss. Helinski steps forward, and leaning out after that one was Babiak. Full count here to Simard. Gonna float this one foul. Helinski throwing a lot early on here. This has been a tightly contested match between him and Simard. Let's look back into a full count here. Helinski into his glove. He'll deal on the way. Simard gonna place this one into center field. Long run for Freeman. Simard thinking about 2. He'll stop up and make his way back to first. Throw is into Johnny Volcano, and it'll be one on for the Red Sox as they look to build off of a good start to this top of 4.
The line score for Tyler Spruill, 3 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts.
There's a throw from Holinsky. That one's going to miss. He's been missing on that right side of the plate from our vantage point. Low again.
Yeah, he's just missing on the outside to the right-handed hitters. And really, if you come inside right now, you're apt to get a ground ball, which can turn a double play.
3 consecutive balls from Holinsky. Had a really low ERA at St. Scholastica this year. Didn't pitch in a whole lot of games, but kept his numbers good. Had earned him a spot on the Mavs. There's a strike.
Smart has no lead at first. I shouldn't say no lead. He's got about a step and a half.
Speak of strong play from Holinsky. His first game of the year, he had, I believe, 9 or 10 strikeouts. And that was in a road game against Swift Current.
Get a ground ball here, Zach.
This one is hammered, and it's got a chance to go all the way to the back wall, off the top of the back wall. Matthew Fox with a 2-run shot. It is a 6-0 Red Sox lead. Utilizing the long ball are the Red Sox, and that's not a game that the Mavs can keep up with, and it's evident in the score.
Well, Fox was due. He hadn't got a hit yet in this series, but that could make up for it.
Jordan Tucker comes to the plate, and being the beer batter, you should think that there's, some compensation for Fox if he hits a home run. Maybe people should walk down to the dugout and give him $5 bills. Linsky with 1 ball and no strikes in this count. Misses the strike zone again.
Yeah, he's falling behind on the hitters, and then he has to come in.
There's a strike. Rafael Jackson on deck as the Red Sox are near the top of their order. Just 1 out on the board. Still a chance to do more.
Ouch.
This one is into flight, and it might be out again. All the way to the wall, and it's off the top of the wall. It'll stay in. Could be a triple here as Tucker with the Jets on. Over to third and into third. My, oh my, it looked like that one was gone off the bat, and with the wind factor as well, it's surprising that it stayed in. The Red Sox still in business. They are churning out hits. And there's going to be a chat here. JT's going to come to the mound. There's a pitcher warming up for the Mavericks. Looks to be Diego Centella.
Yeah, pitching behind, it's just a recipe for disaster.
And Holinsky's day will be done. So Centella enters the game with the Mavs down 6. It is not looking promising, but still lots of game to go. We will take you to a break while Centella gets warm. Still just one out as Raphael Jackson at the plate. Man on third. Chance to build the lead even further, but it is a tough opponent on the other end of things. The Mavericks have Diego Centella out there. Can he be the spark for this team? Swing and a miss as Jackson goes by it. He's behind 0-2. Centella's numbers through the roof this year, and it's a bit unexpected. Mavericks really didn't know what they were getting with Centella to start the year. Hadn't pitched a whole lot away at school, and his numbers weren't
Oh, he got the
that
guy at
impressive
home.
either, but he's been great here. Gonna throw it home, and he is safe. It was a good try, but Babiak lost the glove during the transition.
Centella just forgot all about the runner at third. It would have been an easy out had he turned and looked to third, but he focused on first base, and another run comes in.
Well, it probably caught him off guard, especially because he just entered the game, and for the fact that you don't expect the runner at third to be that far off on an easy dribbler. You expect him to retreat.
Well, the first thing you learn as a pitcher is when you get the ball is to check the runner at third, but he never even glanced over to third.
Back to Centella's numbers. He's done a lot of good this year. An ERA in the 2s as he faces Searing here. And he has proved his worth. He's one of the most relied on members in this bullpen, and come playoff time, he is going to be an X factor. Searing. Long way to go, and instead of a long way for Roth, it was an easy play for Volcano, who kind of popped out of nowhere. And after a long top of the fourth where the Mavs surrender 4 runs and now trail by 7, they will have a chance to hit it around. And that has been a struggle today with Blake Johnson's masterpiece that he has put on. Can the Blake Johnson masterclass continue here in the bottom half of the fourth? He hasn't allowed any runs, just 5 hits. And he's got a bunch of strikeouts. This one into the air. Playable over in right field, and it will be caught by Searing. 1 down already, and the Mavericks haven't even really found themselves in this inning. Jaden Babiak had a hit in his first plate appearance right up near second base. He's one player that's found out how to play against the Red Sox. His team hasn't followed suit in a lot of ways, but he's been in his groove. Babiak, that pitch is going to hit for a strike. Johnson puts that one high. Babiak not going to bite this time. Regina's got to feel real confident, not only defensively with Johnson on the mound, but now hitting-wise sure it's relaxing to go out there knowing that your pitcher isn't surrendering on the other end. Babiak will knock that one off for a foul.
Well, the 7-run lead is a nice cushion, too. When you get two crooked numbers up there, a 3 and a 4, and you got Johnson on the mound, it's a good feeling knowing that you've only got a half a game to go.
This one is fouled aside by Babiak. He's down to one knee. He's thrown his body all over the place today. Count is going to be 2-2. And if you're Regina, forget about warming anybody up at any point. With the way Johnson's played, you might as well let him go all the way. Of course, we've mentioned before, not a lot of complete games in the WCBL, but in a moment like this where a guy's in control like this, you might have second thoughts. Babiak sends this one over the head of the shortstop Fox, and there's one person that's found out how to beat Johnson today, and it's an unlikely player, Jaden Babiak, with his second hit of the night.
Stay hot, Jaden. Well, the thing is, Regina have just come off a long stretch of games. I believe this is their 6th game in the last 6 days, and I think they have a couple of days off, so there might be some guys they want to get into the game before having a couple of days off.
They also know how important it is, though, to win against a team like Medicine in your division that you're chasing. This one's going a long ways out to center field and over the wall. A deep shot for Adam Volcano, his first of the season. Welcome back to the lineup, Adam Volcano.
That was great to see. That was a line shot. You could tell right away that Tucker just hesitated for a split second. Those are the toughest balls to read. And then he realized that it had backspin on it. And he took off, but it just kept sailing right over the deepest part of the field.
And Adam is pumped. A young kid realizing his potential here. He's been out of the lineup for a bit, has found a way to come back in tonight, and he's making the most of it. And this is the theme that he's followed throughout the last couple of years. Bunt down here for Dvorak. And they're going to let it go foul. Great IQ there from the Red Sox as it rode that line the whole way and at the last second tailed off to the left. But back to what I was saying about Volcano. When he's hot, he's been hot. And when he's been out of the lineup and gotten back in, he has put his foot on the gas and he has not relinquished at all. His play has stayed steady, and maybe the start of that here for Adam.
Well, that's how you get yourself back into the lineup and keep yourself in the lineup. I like the attempt by Dvorak to try to put down that bunt. Get on any way you can.
Mavericks trail by 5 now. But a little bit of doubt into the mind of Johnson. That can always help. Swing and a miss there from Dvorak. And you can see his body language after that one. Not pleased with his choice to swing.
Yeah, that pitch was up in the zone, and he realizes it.
Dvorak, this one in and out of the glove of Johnson, and he's got a chance to get there. Sprinting to first, and he's in.
That should be a hit for Dvorak.
And it was almost a great play made over at third base by Bai.
Yeah.
He charged that one towards first, and it wasn't in time, but the effort was there. So Jeremy Freeman Jr. now with just one out. Things are starting to tilt a little bit into the Mavericks' direction.
Regina.
Ooh. This will just be a mound visit. Nobody's warmed up yet for the Red Sox. So I'd be really shocked if they take him out of this game.
Well, they won't until they get somebody warmed up, but I think this might be an opportunity to buy a little bit of time. There is only one out and the top of the order for the Mavs.
Although the numbers haven't been this year for Tyler Fortin, in a game in which you're leading and in which the Mavericks are gaining a little bit of steam, this is the time to use a veteran like that and bring a guy that's been in plenty of high leverage situations into a game like this. They got the chicken dance going on down below here. Fans getting into it. And Johnson, a quick word with his first baseman. Maybe just a little bit of confidence being shared by James Wright.
And we haven't talked much about the Regina Red Sox sale. I did a little bit last night, but maybe later on in the game, if we have a chance, we can talk a little bit about more what's ahead for the Red Sox.
Yeah, some exciting stuff. And as we know, though, it takes a long time for all of this stuff to manufacture, as we've seen up in Edmonton. I guess no longer Edmonton, now Energy City.
Well, the good thing is that a sale was announced, and then it's been approved by the WCBL Board of Governors.
1-1 the count here with 1 out and 1 on. Freeman at the plate. Mavs in a comfortable spot in their order. Freeman, this could be a double play for the Red Sox. Over to second, through to first, and it's a double play, and they do it by getting one of the faster runners in the WCBL in Freeman. And Johnson, despite giving up 2 runs, steers his crew clear of what could have been much more. And while we have a chance, let's run through our player head-to-head of the night, and it's a guy we just talked about seconds ago, Jeremy Freeman Jr. Although he was caught down at first, he hasn't been caught on the base path a lot this year. 13 stolen bases, and that is compared to Jackson Searing's 9, which is also a very good number. These two players very similar. Both outfielders, both have tremendous speed, have great accuracy when they're batting. They put it in spots that fielders aren't, and that is seen within their batting average. Searing with a .471 on the year, and Freeman with .354, both great batting averages. And runs batted in, Freeman has the upper hand in that department with 17 to just Searing's 10, but the games played is a factor within that stat, as Searing hasn't been on the diamond quite as many times as Freeman Jr., but 2 of the league's best, and when all-star time comes around, those are 2 names that you may see taking the diamond. Diego Centella back on the diamond this inning for the Mavericks as he gets warm. And he awaits his first opponent of the top of the 5th. If the Mavs are going to pull off what would be a miraculous comeback, and that might be an understatement, it will start and run through Centella's ability to keep the Regina offense down.
That's the key, is to not allow any more runs from the Red Sox.
Let's see how Centella works here. First pitch is going to be a strike. Good way to start off this top of 5. He's facing off against Jalen Seward. Seward knocks this one down towards first, and his perfect night will come to an end at the plate. A crushed hit into center field, and of course the home run to start the day, but Seward's put on pause here. Brady Bye comes to the plate. Nobody on in the 1 out. This is a confident Mavericks group out there. They never feel like they're out of any games. But truth be told, they've led in most games, so they haven't had to think within this mindset.
Well, as we said lots this year, no lead is safe, whether the Mavs are behind or up.
Well, there might be one lead that's safe, and that is the lead that Okotoks had over Lethbridge just a night ago. Boy, that was a hammering. 24 runs in total for the Dogs. And speaking of the rest of the WCBL, we'll have some updated scores from around the league here as Babiak will toss that one underhand back to Centella. One and 2 count on the mound for Diego. This one going to be hit over to short. From one Volcano to another, that's out number 2. Buys down, right is up. And we're just waiting on our servers to respond as far as stats go from around the league tonight. And here we go, some official scores. It's the bottom of the 5th out in Sylvan Lake. Beautiful Sylvan Lake add-on. And the Gulls surprisingly down 2-1 to the Brooks Bombers, who are last in that division, only 6 wins on the season, and maybe looking to make some noise and get on a hot run here. This one's up in the air. Playable in center for Freeman. We'll get back to those scores in a moment. When we return in the bottom of the 5th, that is what the black, red, and white needed. A shutdown inning from Diego Centella, and it's still just a 5-run game with lots of innings to play. And we're here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Aaron Volcano starting things off, and I just want to make people aware. Our scorebug did say 6-2. You probably were thinking I was crazy saying that, it was a 5-run game. It is a 5-run game. 7-2 the official. But that's a gettable lead for a team that's starting to come on like the Mavericks are. Can they keep it up as Volcano is going to be sent down on strikes as Johnson, he's back on his horse here after giving up the big one. Comes Tyler Vanesti. He got a hit off of Johnson in his last at-bat. And there is a pitcher warming up down there for Regina.
Tyler Fortin.
He was initially shut down, Tyler Fortin. So if the Red Sox are listening to the broadcast, I appreciate you for, taking my word and my suggestion and warming up Fortin. I think he's a good option for them. Ooh, that's a hard throw from Johnson. Not swinging at it is Vanesti. Johnson wanting to preserve his night. I'm not sure he's going to test Tyler with anything too nice. This one's going to be hit through the gap, and it's a base hit for Vanesti. So with 1 out, Mavs also have 1 on. It's a guy who's known for starting rallies in Tyler Vanesti. Chance for Carter Roth to go now. Waiting on deck behind Roth is Johnny Volcano. Volcano sparked a bit of a rally yesterday for the Mavericks. There's a hot one Roth's way, and he'll wait on it. It's ball 1. Never finished what's going on around the league here. Top of the 5th inning over in Okotoks, and the Weyburn Beavers another upset that could be moving its way out tonight as Roth's going to foul this one aside. Weyburn is up 4-3 in that game. Tight one over in Fort Mac as the Miller Express lead by just one over the Giants. And top with a fifth, of course, here. 7-2 Red Sox lead. And there's been one game that has already concluded today that was played earlier today. Throw over to first, they'll check on Venesti. And Energy City getting the better of Swift Current, winning that game 4-2. And for the 57s, it has been a really tricky season. They haven't won a lot of games. They've lost lots of games by big margins as Roth is going to put this one over into center field. And a longer run-in than expected from Tucker, but he makes the play, and so it's 2 down for Medicine Hat. Back to Swift Current. Yeah, just 5 wins on the season. They've now lost 4 consecutive, 2-8 in their last 10. And they have 19 losses on the season.
I think Swift Current's making that trip up north, aren't they, to Edmonton and Fort Mac? And that's where the Mavs are going next week, aren't they?
Johnson gets a swing and a miss from Volcano. His day might be over at the conclusion of this inning, but it would be a day that he's got to be proud of. Fortin looks like he's ready to go. He's standing by down below. And if anything gets out of control, he'll come in and relieve in this inning. But Johnson hoping to park him right over there in the bullpen as long as he can. 1-1 the count. No swing from Volcano there. It's going to be 1-2. One's going to miss. Good play by Kalura to block it.
Yeah, very good play.
Shuffling on his feet from the start. Venesti still over at first base. Just itching to move.
Well, Venesti is not known as a base stealer. He picks his times to run very carefully.
Volcano, a swing and a miss. And another strikeout for Johnson. He maneuvered around a base hit from Tyler Venesti. Nothing behind him. And the Mavericks with a chance to build off of what was a successful last inning. And Johnson stymies them. And while we have you here, let's do a quick pitcher comparison for tonight's game. And one of the pitchers that we're comparing, and now 2 of the pitchers that we're comparing, are actually going to enter this game. So didn't mean to do this, but it works out. Diego Centella on the mound right now. He's pitched 16 innings this year with a 2.20 ERA and 15 strikeouts. He's been really good, in other words. Tyler Fortin on the other end, an ERA higher than he's seen in past years. A 6 ERA through 15 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts, the same total as Centella, but the number's a little bit weaker. But we know what Fortin's capable of, and when we see him tonight, we assume that he will put on a show. Well, we just heard Here for the Party on the loudspeakers here at Athletic Park, and that's exactly what the Regina Red Sox have been here for the last 2 days. They have put on a party, put on a show. Today, 7 runs on the board, 6 last night, a thrilling win, and now a taking over in terms of power. But Centella hasn't allowed a lot of that, and that has been the Mavs' saving grace and the reason that they have a chance. Santea's going to miss here. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Both teams have 8 hits. It's just that 3 of the Regina hits left the ballpark.
They were around the same hit total yesterday as well, as there's a swing and a miss. They were tied at 10 for most of the game, and then that 11th, of course, the difference maker. Kalura at the plate. Already a home run tonight. Dodging that one, and it hit Babiuk on the other end. Full count. Here's the pitch from Santea. Swing and a miss. Avoiding the lead-off walk is Diego Santea. And that's the difference between good pitchers and elite pitchers in this league. When you get into that full count situation and you dial up a tough pitch to hit like that one, a little bit elevated.
Yeah.
It looks like it could end up in the strike zone, and you get a swing like that. What we saw from Kalura. Santea gets a swing and a miss to start this count against Simard.
Santea sat down 6 in a row since he's come into the game. That's exactly what the Mavs need. Some shutdown innings. Lights are just turned on.
Over into center field. Freeman is going to get under it. That ball didn't have a lot of jump to it. Held itself up in the air, gliding along, and an easy play for Freeman. Now here's Matthew Fox. Hit one off the top of the wall and out last time. He'd love to replicate that. Might not be likely. But when hitters get going, they just don't stop. And we saw the reverse from Fox in the early half of this series. When he was in a slump, he just couldn't stop being in that slump. Quite the turn of events.
Yeah, he's got 1 hit, kind of like Carter Roth last night. Carter was in a not hitting last night, and they both got hits tonight.
Here's one up in the air. This one will stay in the ballpark, and it will stay in the glove of Jeremy Freeman Jr. So another quick inning for Diego Santea. He's doing his part on the group project. Can the rest of the Mavs follow along and help him through it as we enter the bottom of the 6th inning? And while we do so, let's flash over to what is kind of a surprising look in this Regina Red Sox lineup this year. Now, I'm sure you've heard a lot of redundant use of the letter J in this game, and so maybe the Regina Red Sox should substitute that G in the name for a J instead and be the Regina Red Sox. They have several players, and this just includes the position players whose names start with a J. You have Justin Simard, Jackson Searing, Jaden Kulera, James Wright, Jory Graves, who we haven't seen yet this weekend, Jordan Tucker, and Jalen Seward. That is a lot of J's, and they've been flying just like the J's on Jordan's feet in this game at least, and that's not on the base path. They've been flying home runs over the fence. So I'm not sure if there's a strategy in picking up people that have the name J, but there's plenty of good ball players that we've seen in this game with that name. We'll see if the success continues for the J Troop. Blake Dale coming up to the plate for the Mavericks. Tyler Fortin on the mound will have the line score here for Blake Johnson in a moment, and it was pretty. We talked about in the early goings that it was shaping out to be really good. Well, it ended that way as well. Wayne, what do you got for us?
Well, I'll give it to you right after this pitch from 410.
He gets a swing and a miss from Dale.
Yeah, 5 innings pitched, gave up 8 hits, 2 runs. Both runs were earned. Didn't walk anyone and had 9 strikeouts in 5 innings.
There's the throw from Fortin. This one is planted, and it is going to fall in there all the way to the back wall. A big bounce. Dale might be thinking 3. He'll stay at 2 and a leadoff double. Big moment for the Mavericks. Checking over at second was Fox, making sure Dale didn't slip off the bag. And could that be what turns the tides in this game?
Boy, it's good to see for Blake Dale.
Dale doesn't have a home run on the year. That one wasn't really close to getting there, but in terms of starting a rally, that might be even better. Getting on and starting to pass the baton amongst him and his teammates.
Well, and here's a guy who's been really hot.
Babiak, high throw. That will fall for ball 1. One thing we haven't seen a lot of in this game are wild pitchers or hit batters, which is something we haven't seen a lot as the season's progressed. Here's a little shuffler, and it's going to get into left. Babiak, another great day. I'm going to have to name him player of the game again. That Oilers loss in the Stanley Cup final has truly motivated Jaden Babiak. He's putting it to good use. And as we mentioned earlier, he's mic'd up tonight, so lots of good sounds, at least via the bat, will be on that recording when it's released. Somebody who heard a great sound off the bat and a great sound from the crowd last time he was at the plate was Adam Volcano, going long to the deepest part of the park. Fortin in a sticky spot here. 2 on for the Mavs, their first 2 batters. And Volcano looking to roll off of what he did last time.
Yeah, the Mavs in a good situation to put a couple of runs on the board.
Volcano wiggle the bat around, throw over to first. Well, if Volcano plots in another more, it might be a wrestling match between him and Babiak for that player of the game honors. I'm sure they're not concerned about that. They just would like to get their team back in the win column after a loss a night ago. Tossed back to the mound. Fortin with 1 strike on Volcano. Waiting on deck is Micah Dvorak, and then the top of the order will follow. Fortin, swing and a miss from Volcano. A little off-speed action in the heart of the plate.
That's a great pitch. Had Volcano out front. Looking for a high fastball here.
He's going to foul this one aside. Good song choice. Staying alive. That's exactly what Volcano's doing. Back into the batter's box he goes. Mavericks now leading in the hit department 10-8. Fortin will go over to first. A bit of a double check there as he was looking towards home plate while throwing over towards Babiak. Did he go? No, he did not.
Yeah, he didn't go on that. Babiak is being distracted to 410.
It's right in the corner of his eye as a lefty. Can't be an easy thing to just push away. Here comes the throw, and it's going to miss again. And that distraction's still looming, Wayne. You've got it.
They tried to change up and pushed it quite a bit outside. So Volcano working his way back into a good hitters count, although it's 2-2.
Now it one almost hit him. Volcano was happy. You can see his reaction at the end of that.
Well, it's full count. So the question is, does Babiak run on full count?
It's a good question.
I'm going to say he's going to go.
Let's see if we have an
Tough
answer
to run
for you.
on a lefty, though.
Volcano going to send this one over into left field. It's going to be grabbed. Dale's going to tag up, and he's going to head home. He's in. Now just a 4-run lead for the Red Sox and another RBI on the board for Adam Volcano via the sac fly.
Good at bat for Volcano. Had to battle all the way back from 0-2.
And when you talked about earlier tonight how the wind is benefiting a player like Micah Dvorak, if there was a time to use one in the air to his advantage, it would be now. The wind at a good spot, and the score could be at an even better one if he could put one long. Freeman on deck, just the one out. That was to Adam Volcano, but he made it count. Apologies, we currently have a bug on the camera screen, so if you're being distracted by that little black object right behind the umpire, it is a bug. This one down and through the gap at first base. Babiak's going to turn around third. He's got lots of speed, and he is in there. A smooth slide from Jaden, and the Mavericks have runners on the corners with just the one out, and Jeremy Freeman Jr. coming to the plate.
Good piece of hitting by Dvorak. Big hole between first and second, and he found it. And it wasn't a hit that hard, and that gave Babiak lots of opportunity to get to third.
Well, and he pulled the freeze ray out of his pocket there. Everybody's standing still, a little bit confused, and I think Dvorak was surprised that that hit where it went.
Yeah, the Mavericks in business. Need to score another couple of runs.
Freeman. That one was lasered for the top corner. And this is not the Tyler Fortin performance that we're accustomed to seeing. When he came here a year ago and the Red Sox got the better of the Mavericks, he went for 3 straight innings, and I'm not even sure he gave up a hit in that time. Pitch is going to miss, so it's 1-2.
There is one away. The score clock showing nobody out. Freeman did hit into a double play his last at bat, which is unusual.
Check on Dvorak at first. Mavericks 3 runs in the last 3 innings. They haven't had that big one yet that we've seen throughout this year, especially at home.
Oh, we need another crooked number on the board.
Freeman going to
That'll
launch
do it.
this one over to left. It is going to drop and roll all the way back to the wall. Babiak's going to be in for sure. Dvorak's going to round third. He's got the Jets on. Throw home, and he is out at the plate.
That was blocking the plate with his foot.
And JT is immediately out of the dugout. Freeman's over at second base.
The catcher put his foot right in front of where Dvorak tried to slide his hand in. But he did give him the back of the plate. Just a great relay from Matthew Fox. Throw right on the target. Kalura decoyed him. Might not have been the opportune time to send him with your 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up. I think he was out.
The entire crowd up in arms here at Athletic Park. Mavs could have made it a 2-run game if Dvorak would have gotten in to score. Babiak gets in, so it's a 3-run game now with Freeman over at second. But there are 2 outs, and that is the biggest factor in all of this. Dvorak gets in, and you're only playing with 1 out and 1 on. Be thinking about bunting just to advance the runner, and who knows from there. Now there'll be a talk with Fortin on the mound. Nobody warming up behind him. So I'm sure this will just be a quick check-in. And while he's checking in, we've talked about a couple of the high-end players on this Regina squad this year. And as we did with the Okotoks Dogs earlier this season, let's talk about the all-star legacy that these three have formed. Justin Simard, third baseman and second baseman, playing at second tonight for the Red Sox. All-star back in 23. He's played in 2 seasons in the WCBL, 23 and 25. That in-between year, he was out of the league. And he led the team in hits in 2023. Jackson Searing will go to the far right side, plays in left field, center field. He plays in any spot in the outfield, in right tonight. One-time All-Star in 24, played in the last 2 seasons. Second in batting average last year with a .404 batting average. And Colton Anderson, we won't see him this weekend pitching-wise. The main starter, and really, I mean, they got 3 great options, but he's at the top of that pyramid. At least that's what most of the dialogue has been throughout the last couple of years. One-time All-Star, played in the last 2 years, and as it says below, Pitcher of the Year was awarded to him last season as Volcano will swing and miss. Aaron has seen his younger brother do some damage in this game. Is it his turn now? One's going to miss, so it's 1-1.
Be nice to pick up that extra run at second base. That'll do it.
It definitely will. This one is lasered over to left, off the back wall. Volcano's for sure going to get 2. Left fielder having a little bit of trouble with it as Jackson took a weird bounce off the base of the wall and it handcuffed him. Freeman's in to score, and it is now a 7-5 ball game. Volcano over at second. Tyler Vanesti up to bat. And with 1 on and a feared hitter coming up to bat, can only imagine that Tyler Fortin is shaking in his boots.
Well, Vanesti has 5 home runs this year. It'd be timely to get another one.
And he instead might get a base hit. This one hanging on to the air and running down and grabbing it is Raphael Jackson. Got a great jump to it. And so the Mavericks are stuck on just 5. They get 3 in this inning, but they are right back in it. And if they can get another strong inning of play from Diego Centella, we could see a very different ball game in an inning's time. Top of the 7th inning in a game that has turned into a completely different game than we had at the start. It was really, once the lights were turned on here, the Mavericks turned themselves on and have played great ball through the last 3.
Well, Diego has done a great job coming in and shutting things down, giving the Mavs a chance to put some crooked numbers up.
Time is going to be awarded here. At the top of their order are the Red Sox. A swing and a foul off of himself. On deck is Jackson, who made a nice running play to end the last. Here's the throw from Centella, and a swing and a foul off from Tucker. He was way out of position on that play. Centella fooled him, and a good play by Tucker to even get a piece of it.
Tucker has been the last Red Sox to reach base. That was in the 4th inning.
He's going to foul this one aside. Off speed there from Centella. See if he goes to something a little bit faster this time. This is the biggest test of the night for Diego. This one is plowed over into right foul territory, and it'll go over the fence. And fortunately for Centella, not the fence that leads to a home run. Mavericks have seen a lot of that tonight and don't want to see much more. Centella regathers. Here comes the throw, and it's poked out and fouled again. Good at bat from Tucker here. He's making Centella earn it.
Yeah, that pitch was a curveball, and it was off the plate. Wasn't even a strike, but Tucker wasn't going to take a chance.
This one is hit over near first base, and the play is made by Volcano. Every time Carter Roth runs across to that side, it always looks from this angle like it's going into his glove. And Volcano comes out of nowhere, and it lands right in his lap. Regardless, it's an out for the Mavericks. And
So
Raphael
important to get
Jackson
that
up.
leadoff hitter off.
Centella has made a living doing that, not just in this game, but throughout the season. And him and the rest of his relief pitchers have been challenged by that. It's going to be a challenge for Volcano. He's going to make it over the back shoulder. And then he launches a high arcing throw towards Carter Roth. And a nice play on defense. That'll boost the confidence for Johnny, who it hasn't been smooth sailing for a couple of games here. And a play like that can energize him. Jackson Searing will face off against Centella. 2 outs already. First pitch is going to be for a ball. Searing, a very patient hitter here. And there's lots of tricks in the bag for Centella, but Searing not one that's likely to fall for all of them. This one popped aside.
Well, Mavs have been able to hold Searing in check tonight. He's 0 for 3.
Count is 1-1. Centella gets one right by him there. Zoom.
Good fastball on the inner half. Searing couldn't catch up to it.
Hit over towards Volcano. He gets under it, clutches it, throws it to first, and another clean inning for Diego Centella. What a response from the Panama-born righty. He has been dominant against the Red Sox, and he has kept his team afloat. And to begin the bottom of the 7th inning after a short 7th inning stretch and what's been a fairly short game as well, Carter Roth will be the first to see Tyler Fortin in this side of things. First pitch to him is a ball. Fortin has been gettable for the Mavs, giving up 3 in the last. Not something that the Mavs are used to seeing with him, but throughout the league this year, it's been a tendency for him to give up lots of runs. He's got one warming up behind him as well as we get later and later in this game. Mavericks don't have anyone warming up, and it's because of Diego Centella. He has no reason to even have the Mavs question to warm someone else up. Here's Roth. He's going to put this one into green grass as it springs over to the right fielder, Searing. First man aboard for the Mavericks, and you talk about getting the first out in the last. They get the first hitter on here. It's a combination for success. You can tell Fortin getting frustrated up on the mound as he's about to be taken out of this game, we assume. So we got a pitcher walking in from right field. Good call here from the Red Sox skipper. This was the time. Don't let things unravel any further. It looks like Nicholas Yard, number 37, will enter the game as he jogs onto the diamond. And they actually hadn't taken Fortin off the mound yet, and he'll instead hand the ball to Yard. An interesting combination. Usually it's the manager who gets the ball after, but with ball in hand for Yard, he will get some warm-up throws in here, and we will resume after he is hot and ready to go.
Got 9.
Johnny Volcano coming into the plate with Carter Roth on first. The Doan teammates will look to bounce off of each other here as Volcano looks to bounce another run in. Long way to go for Roth, but we'll see how hard Johnny's able to hit the ball this time around.
Well, we were just talking off the air. The Mavs don't need 3 runs this inning. You know, if they can get a 1 run, maybe 2 this inning. Now they're back within 1 run.
High throw here.
I think Volcano's got to take until Yard throws him a strike. If he wants to get himself into trouble, let him go ahead.
Swing and a miss from Volcano.
I was wrong.
Yard into the glove here. 2-1 count. Roth over at first. Here it comes. Volcano will wait on it, and that
Good
is the
take.
pitch he loves to swing at.
Good
Excellent
take.
patience.
Yeah. Now you got a hitter's count.
Yard. Here it comes. Volcano over into right field, and it's down. Roth will stop over at second base. There's 2 on for the Mavs. Nobody out. And the rally continuing off the bat of Johnny Volcano.
Just keep passing the baton, boys. Both hitters went to right field.
Blake Dale with a strong last appearance at the dish.
Well, now you got a bunt situation. Dale did hit that double into the right center gap off the wall.
Just make sure you avoid putting it back to the pitcher. And
Yeah, the guy you want to bunt it to is a third baseman. He's the last one that can attack.
first baseman playing in. Here comes the bunt from Dale. He throws it down. Over to second is Volcano, and Yard is going to fall onto the yard here. Over to first is Dale, and the bases are loaded.
Boy, did Roth get a good jump. He read that down right away. As soon as he saw it down, he took off. So that should be another hit for Blake Dale.
And Jaden Babiak, lots of hits in this game, but can he get one when it matters most? The Mavericks can tie the game if they score Volcano from second, and if Dale gets all the way around, they can take the lead. They're down 7-0 at one point.
There's some discussion between the home plate umpire and the manager for Regina. I'm not sure exactly what this is.
Is it possible that he could be arguing that the ball hit down before that chalked line?
Well, it doesn't matter if it hits the plate or not. As long as it goes into fair territory and a player touches it. I think they're going to see whether the pitcher is okay, and that's why the trainer is coming out as well. He did slip and fall, but he got up okay.
Yeah, it was quite the tumble.
It didn't look like he was hurt because he got up right away and walked back to the mound.
It was a quick conversation. One last word between Yard and his catcher. There's some pointing down, more so towards the umpire hovering around short. Thought for a second he might have been pointing to Johnny Volcano, but just giving directions to his team members. That's what people forget a lot of the time. There's obviously the two teams playing, but the third team in the game is the umpires. They got to be on the same page, and they got to make sure that they're able to have success in any game. There might be more pressure to win, in a sense, on them than any of the players.
Well, Babiak's 3 for 3, but boy, I tell you what, he's such a good bunter. He can do anything, so it wouldn't surprise me. The corners are in.
Ooh, stumbling off of that throw.
He wants to hit, but he took that. That was a high pitch, and he just has to be patient. The pitcher is the one that's in a jam right now, not the hitter.
Swing and a miss from Babiak. It's 1-1.
He's got to stay down in the zone. Babs is a good low ball hitter.
Babiak into flight will push Jackson back. I doubt they send the runner here. Roth is going to go on his horse all the way to the plate and in. It is a 7-6 ball game. And Carter Roth showing off some speed on that one. No chance for the throw to reach. So one out here. Babs gets an RBI on his score tally tonight. Still a runner in scoring position.
He did his job, and his job was to get the ball to the outfield, whether a single or in the air. And he hit it far enough for Roth to score.
And
So we're back into a one-run game.
we've talked about
Truman.
Centea being a difference maker. How about the combination of Jaden Babiuk and Adam Volcano? Two of the most unlikely heroes in the hitting department, and they're both having splendid nights.
And this game isn't over yet.
Volcano takes that for a strike, shrugs it off. Has a quick word with the umpire.
Lots of drama still to come in this game, folks. Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's only the bottom of the seventh. Good pitch there as that clips. Fans disagree, but it looked labeled.
Vittorio Ikabuchi is warming up. My apologies if that's an incorrect pronunciation.
Count is 1-2 to Volcano.
Ayakabuchi, that's a tough one to say. Ayakabuchi.
Here's Yard. Waits on it, steps forward. Volcano is going to hit this one up in the air. It's going to be playable.
It's an
They're gonna give
infield
it to
fly.
first base, and infield fly called.
Yeah.
So Micah Dvorak will come up to the plate with a chance to score. Volcano, and we talked about missed opportunities a night ago for the Mavericks. They have the opportunity once again here, and it was Dvorak yesterday who struck out with a runner in scoring position. It's the same story here. You know it's got to be on his mind.
Well, last night it was bases loaded, and he came up and he hit a little flare over to the third baseman. And then the next two guys went out, and we never scored. We have scored one, but again, it'll be a big victory for the Red Sox. If they can escape a bases loaded, nobody out jam.
Dvorak, this one fouled aside, and he hasn't had the typical Micah Dvorak night tonight as well. Here's Yard. Here's the delivery. That one is low. Dvorak will wait. Very patient hitter.
Jeremy Freeman on deck.
Dvorak, a swing and a miss.
Great off-speed curveball from Yard. Had Dvorak out front.
1-2. Big spot for Yard, big spot for Dvorak. Here's the throw. Yard on the way. Dvorak stays around, that off the tip of the bat. It's one thing that Micah has on his side. He's really good at working counts deep. Can be exhausting for a pitcher. Yard hoping that that isn't the result here.
Well, Dvorak is 2 for 3 tonight. He'd like to get a third hit.
And he foul tips that one. It was a thin margin for a tip there. Yeah, I mentioned that Micah's not having an ideal night, and he's still 2 for 3. Other than the one at bat, he really hasn't been that bad. His standards just very high, as we've seen what he can do. And in moments like this, he has proved in the past that he is elite. Here comes the throw. Yard. Dvorak going to play this one over towards Jackson. Should be playable, and it is. So holding on to the lead are the Red Sox. Fortin exits the game. Yard comes in, and he makes the most of his appearance. We'll see if it runs any longer. And the Mavs, 1 run on the board, but 1 run short of tying things as we enter the top of the 8th. First pitch here from Diego Centella, who, yes, believe it or not, is still on the mound, is a ball. How long this run can continue for Diego, we will have to see, but it has been a fun journey with him.
Yeah, he shut 11 in a row down. Since he's come into the game, nobody's got on base.
He's missed 2 in a row here, maybe a little bit of fatigue on Diego's end. There is a pitcher warming up for the Mavs. He's right behind the pole over by the dugout, so it's tough to see. Might be Luke Barrientos down there. 2 balls, no strikes here. Centella's been really good at getting the first batter out. There's a strike as he works his way back. At the end of the day, he can still hang his hat on a really good performance. He's going to miss again. Not getting any chases down below. Seward is being patient.
Well, you've got a deadly hitter up, a dangerous one anyway.
It's a strike to Seward. He shakes his head, agreeing with the call. And after Seward's at-bat concludes, whether that's in success or with him heading back to the dugout, we will have updated scores from around the league. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Centella.
Boy, he came back from being down 2 balls and then 3-1. Gets a strikeout. That's a big out.
You know, Diego reminds me of one of my all-time favorite pitchers in Luis Severino. He can beat you with the heat. He's got some tricky off-speed stuff, and his mechanics very similar as well. First pitch is a strike from Diego, and as we promised, some of the scores around the league. In Fort Mac, still a close one-run game there as well. It is 5-4 for the Moose Jaw Miller Express. Still time to go. Over in Sylvan Lake, it is the bottom of the 7th, and the Gulls now do have the lead. They put up 4 unanswered. They lead 5-2. Of course, we told you Brooks was winning that last time. There's a throw from Centella that's going to miss. And over in Okotoks, it's a 6-4 lead for the Dogs, so they also come back against the Beavers. That in the top of the 7th, so there is still time. That is all that's going on around the league so far today. Of course, the Energy City Cactus Rats victorious earlier in the day. There's a strike. Not offering there was by. It's a full count. Here's Centella. Gets a swing and a miss. And as that ball went into orbit, I glanced over at the score clock on the far left side here at Athletic Park. 16-8 are the runs. The Mavericks with 16 hits, and they still trail. Here's one into the air. Dvorak, he's got eyes on it, and now he's got a mid on it. Out number 2. And 1 out away is Centella from escaping another inning. And the way he's made it look, it hasn't been escaping. It has been punching his way through batters. Ending up on top. Can he do it once more? Set up a
Mavs
short
are down
appearance for Barrientos.
Sorry, I was just going to say the Mavs being down 7-0, and to be into this position, top of the 8th, 2 out, nobody on, and they're only down a run. You got to like their chances.
One slips through the glove of Babiak.
But Regina are going to have something to say about it as well.
James Wright at the plate, the first baseman. On deck is Jaden Kalura. Kalura with a home run tonight. Centella behind 2-0. He's lost a little bit of control, but he's stayed steady. Here comes the throw. That one's going to miss.
He's given it everything he has out there, and he might be running out of gas, but boy, it's been an impressive run. Came in the 4th inning. This is probably his last hitter.
High throw, a 4-pitch walk for Centella. And JT is coming out of the dugout. And I'm sure he will be leaving the dugout satisfied. What a performance from Diego Centella. We'll have the line score when we come back. But for a reliever, and a young reliever at that, to come into this game and take over the way that he did, give his group a chance in a game that looked dead to rights. Boy, what a special night for Diego. And maybe he's not done quite yet.
He's thrown 53 pitches, 36 strikes, and only 17 balls. So over a 2-to-1 ratio, they're going to leave him in.
That is trusting your guy. And even after a 4-pitch walk, going back to him, that shows how much JT believes in a guy like Diego. And he loves Diego beyond being a baseball player. He loves him as a character in the locker room. His energy is great. And he doesn't stray away from who he is. Here's Centella. High throw, so 5 balls in a row, and you can see him angry after that one as he shows a little bit of frustration. We haven't seen a lot in this game. He's pretty even keel all the way through. Centella, that one's a strike. It glances under the bat of Calera.
Calera, another dangerous hitter. He has a home run tonight. That one was way over the trees in right field.
1-1. Here's Centella. That one is going to bounce off of Babiuk. He lost track of it. Runner will head over to second base. Barred down off the mask, and it ended up at the backstop.
Yeah, it's a wild pitch, but it's a pitch that Babiuk, I'm sure he would say he could have blocked. He stood up. Tough one.
Couple of looks at the runner over at second. Here's Centella. This one is going to be grounded over to first. And the throw to Centella. Taps on the bag. He's out of the 8th. A 4-pitch walk prior. JT sticks with his guy. And Diego Centella finishes the job. Can the squad behind him do the same? It's a 7-6 ball game. Things are heating up. Do not look away. Well, we just watched one Ottawa University player dominate throughout this game. Can another start off this inning right? It's Jeremy Freeman Jr. in at the plate. And if I could give a round of applause, I'm neutral. I'm a broadcaster, so I can't. I will leave it at that. But if I were not a broadcaster tonight, Diego Centella would be getting a round of applause from me. It's as good as you can pitch.
Yeah, he was outstanding. 4 2/3 innings. Didn't give up a hit. No runs. Walked 1.
Yard on the mound for another inning here. Over to third, and a bit of a tricky play there. That was not easy for Brady Bye. Almost lost his balance.
Well, I had a lot of topspin on that pitch, or on that hit. And it looks like it's coming up by your chest, and then all of a sudden dives down by your knees.
1 out in the bottom of the 8th here. And here comes Aaron Volcano. Johnny with a nice hit last inning. We've seen what Adam's done in this game. Can Aaron have a shining moment? First pitch is a ball.
Yeah, the Mav needs to get a base runner.
Tyler Vanesti and Carter Roth on deck. You would hate to have 2 outs with one of those guys coming up. A little added pressure to Volcano here. That one's going to miss. I'm sure he'd love a free pass here as well, and Yard's going to start him off with 2 balls. Volcano, wild swing. First strike against Yard here. One gonna miss again. Wayne, 3-1 count. You need base runners. Are you taking an account like this?
Nope. 3-0, yes. 3-1. You don't want to get to 3-2 when you get a pitch right down the middle. Might be the best pitch you're going to see.
He's going to hit this one over to third, and it's through Brady by. He made a beautiful play against Freeman, couldn't convert against Volcano, and Aaron is fired up over at first base.
That's what they needed.
1 on for Tyler Vanesti. Vanesti was ready to come in yesterday. He was eager to come in on his off day in extra innings and give it a swing, give his team a chance to win. He gets a similar moment here just a day later. We've seen him go long in big moments.
Sorry, he's got power and he's got a hold between first and second.
First pitch is a ball from Yard. Waiting on deck right behind him is Carter Roth. He is a walk-off here this year. We're not in that same type of scenario, but it almost feels like it.
Aaron runs well at first, so a single, he'll have a chance to get to third.
Vanesti blazing hit over into right field. It's going to land at the feet of Searing. Aaron Volcano's on his way to third. He slides in. He is there. Runners are on the corners. Tyler Vanesti with a beam into right field.
Great base running by Volcano as well. He realized that Searing had to go to his left to feel that, and as soon as he was going to his left, he just kept going for third.
And when you have a cornerstone player like Tyler Vanesti, you hope that he gets in scenarios where he can shine like he did there. We've seen it a couple times this year, and he has converted every single time in moments, just like we saw. Carter Roth, he's another guy that's converted. 1 on, or 2 on with just the 1 out, and a base hit would give the Mavericks, would tie the game, and any more could give them the lead. Yard still has work to do, responsible for both base runners.
So what Roth is trying to do here is get the ball to the outfield again, at least tie up the game.
Roth, bit of a half swing there. That one called a strike. It's 1-1.
What you want to avoid is the double play, of course. So try to get something up that you can get to the outfield, at least tie the game. And if it hits the grass, all the better.
Here's the throw. Roth over the head of the second baseman. Volcano is in, and we are tied at 7 apiece. 7 down, and Roth makes the Red Sox pay. That is what he does best, Wayne. Finds a spot in the outfield. It may not be the hardest hit ball. It might not be the prettiest hit ball you've ever seen, but it is the perfect play, and he does it again.
I think that could be it for Yard.
And that will be it for Yard. So while we get a new pitcher in, we will step away. The Mavericks with a chance to take the lead. Just 1 out. Johnny Volcano waiting on deck. Boy, what a turn of events here in Athletic Park tonight. Well, Wayne, we have a new pitcher on the mound. Take us through who the Red Sox got.
We have Vittorio Iacobucci on the mound, big, tall right-hander. Runners on the corners, only one away.
A bouncer. Oh, great play by Culera to keep it ahead of him.
Yeah, he was like a cat on that. Roth wanted to go, but Culera was on it in a blink.
1 ball, no strikes to Volcano. 19 hits on the game for the Mavericks to just 8 for the Red Sox. And this ball game is tied. It's been the long ball that has carried the Red Sox. And that's not a bad thing either. That just shows that you have some powerful tools in the shed, and they've used all of them tonight. But a chance for Volcano in a spot that he wants. One called a strike.
We had a great game last night, and look what we have tonight. Tied at 7, going into the bottom of the 8th. Mavs have an opportunity to take the lead.
Antonio into his glove. Volcano is going to crack this one over to third. Throw home, and in to score is Vanesti. Little bit of trouble over at first. Scampering back there is Volcano. Roth gets back to second. Chaos in the making. Samard is furious. He believes he got the tag on Roth moving back. He's still having words with the umpire, and he can't believe that one wasn't called. And I'm not sure the Mavericks can believe that they've just taken the lead here in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, that Johnny Volcano hit it, and the only play that I thought he had was at home, but I don't think he had a play at home. And with the overthrow, Johnny just about ran Roth off the base at second.
Showing bunt there was Dale. He'll pull away as that one's a ball. Dale getting signals from the dugout. So in a drastic turn of events that nobody would have expected, even some of the biggest Maverick fans out there and the biggest Red Sox fans out there, the Mavericks have the lead here. Just do not go away. This is a playoff-style atmosphere. It's been that way for the last 2 games here at Athletic Park. And I guess you can't expect the Red Sox to be done either. It's going to be a tough 3 outs for Medicine Hat.
Yeah, it will be.
Be a
Blake
raid.
Dale, and a great hitters count, 2-0, but he's still looking to bunt. Takes that low.
So now back to your point from before. You're taking here. at
Yeah, you're
3-0.
taking this one. Now, if they want him to bunt, this might be the best pitch he's going to get.
And he will take. Maybe some shock from the crowd there as there was some oohs and some ahs after Dale didn't show a bunt.
Yeah. Nobody really knows what he's going to do.
Showing bunt this time, and it'll go behind him, so that now out of the equation for Dale. Count is full with 1 out. Mavs trying to extend their lead with Roth over on second, Volcano over on first. It doesn't feel like one is going to do it, Wayne.
Well, it's a funny game, isn't it? I'm sure Regina thought, 7 should do it. We've got a pitcher going well out on the mound.
Runners
Double
are going to
steal.
go here as Dale pops it backwards.
Yeah, double steal by the Mavs.
That aggressive base running always on display.
Well, Vittorio wasn't showing any concentration at all towards the runners. So Roth and Volcano decided to take advantage.
Full count. 1 out, 2 on. Blake Dale at the plate. Here comes the throw. Both runners going to go.
ball
Throw over
4.
to second. Volcano's in there standing up, and Dale is over to first. And that wouldn't have even mattered. I was getting excited over a throw for nothing, but Volcano still got to be happy with the result on that play.
Well, great at-bat by Blake Dale. He was asked to bunt. Got ahead 3-0, went full count, and then took a pitch for ball 4. Very good at bat. Blake Dale's had a good night. 2 hits, clutch walk.
The bases are loaded. And
Like he
at
came
the
up
plate is
last
Jaden
time.
Babiak, exactly. We're deja vu here tonight. Babiak going to send this one along the ground. Could be two. Throw to second. Not in time to first, and a run comes in to score. It's Carter Roth. So the Mavs now lead 9-7. And a huge insurance run, and they could still get more with Volcano over at third and Babiak on first. Adam Volcano, we've talked about his night a lot. Does he have a little more gas in the tank? Can he get his brother through to score?
I think Babiak's going to steal. They might try a double steal.
First pitch is a ball. Just off the right half of that plate. That pitch will get in.
The pitcher is not paying any attention to Babiak at first.
And the first baseman is holding him on.
Yeah, he is, which he has to do.
Another strike here from Vitonio. It's never too late to find a rhythm. I think the Mavs have proved that throughout the course of this game, and getting it out here to Volcano for Vitonio would be massive. And calling time here, I'm not sure if it was Volcano, if it was Vitonio on the mound.
Boys, this game flipped on its head, hasn't it?
Whew, that one was tight.
Yeah, it was inside. Curveball just didn't break enough for Vittorio. I go by first names with certain people.
It's like Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yes.
Volcano, another foul off. Looked like Babiak had enough speed to get around all the bases, and Wayne's shaking his head. Twos across the board for number two. It's funny how that always seems to happen.
Mm.
Here comes the throw. Volcano will send this one up into the air. Might be a tough play in center field, and luckily the communication was strong enough for the Red Sox, and Jordan Tucker makes the play. But I'm here to communicate to you that the Mavericks are indeed on top 9-7. I'm not sure how we got here. You might not be sure how we got here, but we are here. And the Mavericks 3 outs away from taking one back at home after a tough one last night. Well, welcome back, folks. And I know I promised you earlier in the game that we would do our Friday night spotlight. And tonight it is on Tyler Venesti. Venesti, we've seen him wear number 8 here for a lot of years. And that's actually because of NHL superstar and now all-time goals leader, Alex Ovechkin. He spent his first 2 collegiate years at Taft College. Now he is at California San Bernardino. He was selected as an all-star. We've mentioned that a lot next to his name in 2024. He was originally an Edmonton prospect. They're the now defunct team and have turned into the Energy City Cactus Rats. That was back in 2022 before he became a Mav, but loves it here. This has become his second home away from Warman, Saskatchewan. And the reason we picked Venesti tonight is not just because he's a really talented Maverick and a really good player, but it's because he recently achieved a feat, both him and Johnny Volcano, that hasn't been seen a lot. He has played over 100 games in a Maverick uniform. Johnny Volcano has also done the same. 2 historic milestones, and I believe there's only 10 or 12 people who have ever done that in the new era of WCBL, WNBL baseball. So with that being said, let's get back to the action. We'll see how much longer this one goes as Jensen Cockrell makes his second appearance here at Athletic Park, and a second appearance under pressure.
Well, he's facing 8, 9, and 1.
Swing and a miss, back-to-back strikes. And Jensen says that it's not so much nervous energy that he feels in the mound, but rather excitement when he gets up there. And most times it's tougher to contain his excitement than it is his nerves.
Well, he's got a good fastball so far.
This one's sent up into the air. Roth is going backwards. Should be
Freeman
playable
Freeman
over
doesn't
and
know
right.
where it is. Freeman had no idea where that ball was.
And
he has his hands out.
And fortunately, Adam Volcano in right field knew exactly where it was at. And we saw a couple nights ago when Tyler Venesti hit one into right in extra innings, the right fielder lost track of it the whole way. When it gets to this point in the night, that dark blue sky and the lights being bright, it is not easy for these outfielders. And Freeman, a prime example. Here's Cockrell as he rifles one past Fox.
Yeah, it's a certain type of sky as well. And sometimes you just lose it right away. And Jeremy Freeman had his hands out to his side. He didn't know where it was.
Fox going to foul that one off. And in back-to-back counts, Cockrell ahead.
Yeah, a good curveball there. And he got Simard on a curveball as well to pop up. Really tough to wait on a curveball when a guy's got a very good fastball like Cockrell.
Here's the throw. It is going to be hit into right field. And a base runner is on for the Red Sox. That's exactly what they needed to do. Just one out here in the top of the 9th inning. And Cockrell, I believe that's the first hit he's given up this year. But this is only his second inning pitch this year. So now he will face Jordan Tucker, the leadoff batter at the top of the order. A dangerous hitter at that. This one over to Volcano. He's going to go to first. High one to his brother, and it is wrapped up. So the runner advances, and a good play by Johnny. It would have been too close at second. Yeah. He takes what is offered and makes the most of it. So there are 2 outs, a runner in scoring position for the Red Sox in a game that has been as tight as an old shirt. And up at the plate is Raphael Jackson. Jackson looking to at least get one in to score and then give Jackson Searing a chance to tie this ball game. Or maybe he can do it on his own. Out to center field. This one is tracking at the wall. Freeman makes the play. Oh, what an end to an amazing game. The Mavericks come back from 7 down to beat the Red Sox. Wayne, you can't draw it up.
That was hit 379 feet, but the fence is 380. Boy, that was right at the wall. Freeman got a good jump on that one. Wow, what a game. What a game.
You could hit that ball anywhere else in the park, and it's gone, and we're looking at extra innings potentially. And instead, Freeman with it the whole way. Luckily, he saw that one because the one before he would have been in trouble. And the Mavericks, on the back of Diego Centella and some late inning magic, are somehow victorious. Wayne, you could not draw this up with the pen you've been playing with the entire game.
I got to stop that.
Stuff that Disney could not even fathom.
Well, this was last night. We credited Regina. We said there were full marks for the win. Tonight, full marks to the Mavericks for the win. They did not give up, and from the fourth inning on, they were down 7-0. It was all Mavericks. Diego Centeo, what a performance. What a performance. He sat down 12, 13, 14 hitters. He walked one. Never gave up a hit. And that gave the Mavericks a chance to get back in it, and that's exactly what they did. That was one of the best comebacks I've seen here in a long, long time.
And we saw some special ones a year ago. We noted those in one of the first broadcasts of the season. The antics in this game, not as far as interesting plays or a bounce here or bounce there, but the high level that was played at by both Blake Johnson and Diego Centea, and then Regina in the power department. I mean, they hit how many home runs in this game and still couldn't get the job done? 3 home runs. You just don't see that usually. And the Mavericks scrap one away when it looked like they were down and out for a majority of this game.
Yeah, it was a great comeback. Adam Volcano with his first home run made the score 7-2. And then after that, there was just not a big hero to the game, but a lot of little heroes. Babiak had a great game. Venesti had a great game. Roth had another 3-hit game. There was a lot of things happening throughout the game that just made it a great game as a fan to watch and a great game to call. You know, Regina have to be shaking their heads. They're 4 games back again.
And to close this one out, as Wayne alluded to, lots of little pieces tonight, and you hear often it takes a village. And in the city of Medicine Hat, you never know what to predict. It's been fun here at Athletic Park this year, and the Mavericks find a way to pull one from the jaws of defeat once again. We will be back here tomorrow for Berries and Mavericks. But for now, as always, for Wayne Slosher and myself, Truman Bartman, this one has come to a close, and we cannot wait to see what the next one brings. Take care, folks.
Remember we said earlier on?